difference then. So when I'm a little bit frustrated about that, certainly because Temba got 3 matches suspension. And our situation, but I think our situation is clear. If tomorrow you don't win, you play the last game against South Korea, for nothing. And this is something we have to avoid. We know the mistakes we made in the first game. And some people said, yes, the coach is too soft for his players, but I don't like to blame my players in front of a camera. So sometimes you have to lie a little bit as a coach. And that's what I did. So we know what went wrong in the game against Mexico. And we will try to improve that tomorrow. And if we can improve that, and certainly when we have the ball, then I think we have a chance to win the game.
Good afternoon, Coach Matladze from Times Live. A follow-up on Temba. There's an opportunity to appeal. Is the team management going to appeal?
We will appeal, yes.
Coach Hugo Mazola from SABC Sport. Obviously, there was a question then about what you learned about your team, and your opposite number for Czechia says what he saw against Mexico gave him a little bit of a surprise, because that's not the Bafana that he's used to, having watched the qualifiers and obviously the AFCON as well. How do you respond to that? Because, you know, in our TV interview, you said you thought you'd played well, and you thought, you know, there were elements that would need to improve going forward.
Yeah. You know, I'm nearly 40 years coach, and I know there is a side on your job that you are criticized. So for the moment I'm criticized, but people have to know, and for those who still don't know it, I do it my way. And I never listen to the trash of the social media. I never listen to people who sometimes think that they are important and have to criticize the team. So when I'm going to see what they did before, I think it should be better that they shut up. So again, I know what went wrong. I know we had a debriefing 2 days after the game of Mexico. The players know it, and that's the most important thing. And for the rest, I will do it my way. If tomorrow they want this one or another one or a third one in the team and I don't agree, they will not be in the team.
Good afternoon, Radek Sedlmeier, Czech Republic. It's a question for Captain. I would like to give you a big congratulations, because I think it's a big success to be on such a big tournament after a long time. What are these emotions inside of you? What do you think of that? And at the end, Czechia has a quite same story. We are on the World Cup after 20 years. So what do you think of Czechia's side? Thank you so much, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we worked so hard for it, and it wasn't given to us. It was years and years of sacrifice. Kept going. We kept the belief. I can remember when the coach first took over, and he promised that we will be at the 2026 World Cup. And we didn't want to let him down. We worked so hard as a team. And we've seen what it means to the entire South Africa for us to be part of the World Cup again. It's amazing. We're inspiring now a whole nation. Now it's just for us to play our football now. You know, the opening game is done now. It was very difficult for many reasons, you know, but I think going into the next 2 games, we'll be much better. We've analyzed, we've done our homework, and I think we're much ready for tomorrow's game.
Valen from Newsroom Africa. To Captain Ronwen, it was a difficult match, the opener, 2 red cards. What have you been saying to the team to kind of get their heads mentally back into the tournament, because there's still a lot to play for, to do or die against Czechia tomorrow? And then for Coach, what do you make of the criticism from many South Africans that the approach that you employed in the first game was far too defensive and they're asking for a more offensive game? Thank you very much.
Of course, it was very difficult. I think the occasion and the moment, obviously everyone deals with it differently. And us as a team, we didn't want to concede, so early in the critical phase of the match. And we learned the hard way, but after the game, it was difficult. We had disappointment, we had pain, because we worked so hard, for the opening game. And the last few years, we've, worked so hard to be at this moment that it hurt us, so much with the performance and the result. So I think for 2-3 days after the match, you could hear a pin drop in camp. There was a lot of quietness. The guys were, they were in pain, so for that moment, you don't want to say too much. You want to clean it out of your system, and everyone deals with things differently. That's why we've got an experienced coach who let us be, for 2 days after that. But then Monday, it was work again. We done the debrief on the Mexico game, and we saw where we went wrong, and most of the guys, acknowledged and agreed. And since then, when we've analyzed our next opponent, Czechia, you could see the energy is slowly coming back into the team and the belief. The most important thing is you don't want to lose that belief, because, like I've mentioned, this World Cup, us being here, wasn't given to us. We worked so hard for it. So we didn't want to lose that belief. And I think over the last 2-3 days, you could see it there again. And we know how important tomorrow's match is. So we are ready. It's going to be difficult because both countries are in the same, in the same moment now that we know we can't drop points. So it's going to be a fight, and we are ready for it.
Coach, to your left,
Yes.
over here in the corner.
Wait, I think.
No, I think I have to answer the question
Yes.
of the
Excuse me,
lady.
sorry.
Yeah.
This is part of my job. I know that when you lose, you are criticized. When you win, you are the king. And 8 months ago, when we qualified for World Cup against Rwanda at home, there was somebody who came to me and he said, "Coach, they have to make a statue for you in South Africa." I told him, I said, "Make it in wood, so it will burn more easily when I lose." And that happens now. So I'm too experienced to look and to listen at that. I try to do my job as good as possible, and I try to have a team tomorrow on the pitch who will fight for it in 90 minutes, and we will try, if we lose, that we can leave the pitch proudly because we did everything for it.
Coach, Mark Leeson from Reuters, I want to ask you, you say you're going to play the game your way tomorrow. Can you give us some insight into what sort of tactical approach?
No insight.
And secondly, you say tomorrow is a do or die game, but we could still go through in the third place if you get a point tomorrow and you beat South Korea.